What's up? It's Keith with the Landscaping Employee Trap. Standing by the window in my room here because I need some light so you can see me. But anyways, I just got off the phone with Joshua Bark, landscaping business owner. And I'm not going to say any names, but anyways, he just got gypped by a customer that he did a whole landscape job for. I talked to him on the phone. I looked at his Facebook. It's obvious that he knows what he's doing. And he got the gut feeling in the beginning of the job that about the customer, a funny feeling. And if I dive into that real quick, I'll say, so the customer ripped him off and said, I'm not paying you, period. Do something. You get that gut feeling when you go into a job because you need the money. Oh my God, it's slow right now, or this job seems lucrative, right? You get that funny feeling, you get that feeling, right? But you do it anyway. You pass it aside, I'll deal with that. We'll deal with that when we get to it. No, dude. It's so crazy being in business. It teaches you so many valuable lessons. Basically, the lady's not paying him. And there's nothing he could do. He even went back to try to appease her, to fix what she wanted. And it was very communicative. And I know just by talking to him, he's telling the truth. And then this lady's just not paying. And my mentor, Dave, I talk about Dave. 5 years ago when I started my business, he really helped me kind of get it going. The initial spark. He didn't help me with my business. He just gave me the initial advice that turned on the light bulb. And I'll tell you, when that light bulb goes on in anything, whatever that dream is for you, you can't shut it off. You've opened up a whole new world. So he said, Falcus, it's always the customer that you never suspect that's going to take you to the cleaners, that's going to rip you off. Always the nicest one that you would never even think. I don't need a contract on this one. I don't need a deposit. They're cool. That's the customer that's going to screw you sideways and take you to the cleaners. The person who is... Let me digress for a second. When I'm on a job site with my guys, they think I'm crazy because I'm so obsessed over every little detail. If we're doing window cleaning, oh, there's a little smudge on that window. If we're doing landscape, oh, this little tiny thing, right? Because I know that the customer who is so nice and they're bringing you out brownies and shit and sandwiches and bringing you out Kool-Aid and shit, out, this customer is great. That same customer that you love is the same customer that will mutate into a nasty vampire alien and turn into a completely condescending, narcissistic psychopath at the snap of a finger. That's the same customer who will stick a knife in you. So it's not like you don't trust them, but you gotta trust people and they gotta trust you. That's what the whole business is built on, is trust. But it's also about being very communicative and very I can't explain it. It only comes with time. It only comes with time. And in the beginning, you're going to get ripped off. Make sure you get your deposits. Make sure you do everything to bend over backwards and kind of whore yourself out to make sure those customers are happy and they refer you. Because if there's something, I want to tie this up. There's a customer I did work for in my first year in business. I was so desperate, I was doing work for her for peanuts. There was a job that she wanted me to do, and I gave her a price. She goes, what? I'm not paying $600 or $800 for that. I said, well, miss, I have to pay for gas, and I have to pay for this and that, and that's why it costs this much, right? That was my tone of voice. I was like a little pussy, and telling the customer too much instead of just being cut and dry, yes or no, move on. I needed it. The business was being built because it was tied into need and not into purpose. It was tied into my neediness, which was rightfully so. I was starving to death, instead of purpose. So I settled with the lady on $400 and I still took the job. This is different than Joshua's story, but this also helps. I still took on the job knowing that I wasn't even going to make, I was going to make like, if I didn't mess anything up, I would make like $80 or something on an entire landscape job, pulling all the weeds, trimming shrubs, installing mulch, weed barrier, fabric, pins. And on the day on the way to the job, I go, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? I put down the lady's mulch. Come to find out, I didn't order enough mulch because I was scared, and I ordered just enough amount of materials, and it didn't turn out to be enough. And then I was screwed. I only mulched half the lady's property, and it was too thin or whatever, and she didn't pay me. She's like, I'm not freaking paying you for that. You didn't even finish the job. I was like, well, you didn't even... I not only screwed myself out of the $400, but I also lost like $200 because I took on a job that... Now looking at it now, I would never do that, right? And it's easy to look at somebody, if you're experienced in business and you look at somebody who's doing that, you're like, dude, you're an idiot. Why would you do that? You're an idiot. Why would you do that, right? But you can't beat yourself up because you don't know what you don't know, right? People say, oh, go out and take a risk, take a leap, go out and take on these massive projects and do all this big crazy shit. You're just going to dig your own grave if you don't know what you're doing and how you're doing it. You don't have the experience, you haven't worked your way up to that point. Excuse me. Just ate a bagel with cream cheese. It was delicious. If you haven't worked your way up to that point, then that's really what it is. There are no guarantees. You can only lean things in your benefit and in your favor. So... yeah, we all make mistakes. My advice is literally just cut your losses and bounce. I guess if it's over $1,000 or whatever, I've never had to take anybody to court. I always, I think I've been ripped off a couple times, and I just cut my losses and get the hell out and get right to the next job and keep making money. Because if you let it fester inside of you and stew, you're just gonna go nuts, man. You're gonna hold it and it's gonna eat you alive. It's not personal, it's just business. And maybe down in the future, what happened for me. See, I told you that story about that lady that ripped me off. I saw that I was really ripping myself off and ripping her off by doing work for her, period, by just not getting the hell out of there. You begin to see clearly as you go down the road. You look back and you go, oh, now I see what happened. What was I thinking? See, in the moment, it's everything to you, and you're like, ah, if you feel like that's all that exists when you're messing up on a landscaping job or you're not making the money, but down the road, you look back, you're like, what was it, right? Because you're tied in neediness and not tied in purpose. And I'm not saying that's you, Joshua, I'm just talking in general and also from my experience. So I hope you got something from this video, and all right, peace.